Yo, this is Chuck, and welcome to the How to Defeat Suits video blog. So, first and foremost, please let me apologize for the fact that I haven't made any blogs in a little while. I'm trying to get used to the whole parenting thing, and then having to deal with a little 2-year-old who's just as crazy and just as busy as me, but he's only 2, so he can't talk. Been keeping me pretty busy. Also, let me say welcome to the glory that is my Bangkok hotel room. Here's the view! So I'm currently here working on a Thai action movie that's hopefully going to come out sometime next year. So if it does, I'm going to let you know, so please just keep an eye out. Anyway, on to the topic at hand. This video blog goes out to a YouTube user whose name I can't exactly pronounce. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write it down at the bottom of the screen. And if that's you, I'd appreciate it if you'd write in, comment, and tell me how to say your name. Just for future reference, you know? So anyway, the reason that I'm making this blog is because this YouTube user had watched another video of mine on how to overcome a fear of fighting, and then he wrote in and he said, Chuck, how do you overcome a fear of getting hit? And then when I saw the comment, I was like, oh, okay, that's easy. And I started to write back. And then like 17 pages later, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to make a video out of this instead. And as such, here we are. So now what I'd like to do for all you lovely people today is to outline what, in my 23 years of martial arts experience, is what I believe to be the best way to get over a fear of getting hit. In 4 steps! And those steps are, step 1, you make the decision. Step 2, find a place. Step 3, start sparring. Step 4, you get your ass kicked. Now I know in outlining those steps it does seem to be a relatively simple process, but the reason I'm making this video is there is a layer of complexity to it in order to do it so that you can actually do it successfully. So, that's what we're going to be getting into now. So please just bear with me, hear me out, and hopefully I can leave you with something that you find enlightening. Step 1, make the decision. The fact of the matter is, every journey begins with a single step, and every fight begins with someone deciding that they're going to fight back. And the process of overcoming a fear is the same way. First, you have to make the decision that you're going to try. To say, you know what? I don't want to be afraid of this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm going to do something about it. Now, you don't have to make a decision right now that you're going to become an ultimate fighter or some kind of super ninja from hell. But you do have to decide that you're going to take that first step and try. And you know what? Maybe this first time you try, you may not succeed. But the fact that you tried will make the next time you try smarter. And then if you fail again the next time, again, you're going to be a little bit smarter, a little bit more experienced, and it's going to be a little bit easier. We starting to see a pattern here a little bit? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, the point that I'm making is that everything begins with this decision that, you know what, win or lose, succeed or fail, I'm going to try. So that's step 1. Step 2, find a place to train. Now I know, given the full plethora of options that we have in the modern martial arts world, it would seem like this is also relatively easy, but actually there is a layer of complexity to this too. Meaning that when you're looking for a place to train, you have to find some place that 1, suits you, and then 2, also has contact sparring. But we're gonna get to that later. Now when you first decide to do a martial art, the most natural thing in the world is you start asking around to all your buddies, and you're like, hey, what do you think is a good martial art to do? What do you think is a good martial art to do? But the fact of the matter is, your friends are different people than you are. So what they like and what they enjoy is probably going to be a little bit different than what you like and what you enjoy. And you know, for me, my favorite martial art is Taekwondo. I've been doing Taekwondo for forever because I love it and I think it's cool looking and I think kicks are fun. Whereas for one of my best friends, Stu, who I do How to Defeat dudes with, he's an MMA guy. He loves MMA. He lives, breathes, and sleeps MMA. And even though we both deeply, truly love martial arts to the same degree, and and we get along well because generally we think the same, just within the context of our personality and our life experience, the kind of martial art we like is different. So the advice that I have for you is to pursue a martial art that when you look at it, it excites you, and you think, I want to be good at that, or that looks dope. Regardless of what your friends tell you, that's the martial art that you should pursue. I don't want to get too deep into this topic because I've already made a video specifically on how to find a martial arts school, called actually How to Choose a Martial Arts School. So if you still feel like you need or want to know more on that topic, I'd recommend that you check out that video instead. But the key point that I want to make on this topic is that you feel at home in the school, you feel like you're amongst friends, and you don't feel threatened. So that the first time you step into any kind of a ring or on any kind of a mat, you're with friends, so it's not as scary. And you're among people that are going to encourage you as you go along instead of trying to make fun of you or trying to break you down. The other thing that's important is that it has to be a place that has active contact sparring. Because as we go and get into in point 3, a big part of getting over fear of getting hit is getting hit. And that level of people brings us to step number 3. You start sparring. So after you found the martial art that you like, and you've also found a school that makes you feel comfortable, where you feel like you're among friends and you don't feel threatened, now is the time for you to actually start fighting or start sparring. Now when I say get your ass kicked, I don't exactly mean you stepped in the ring with a 350-pound, 9-foot barbarian who eats people for fun. What I mean is you start sparring, and as you start sparring, you just start getting hit. Because the number one thing that makes anything scary is the fact that it's a question mark. It's an unknown. That's why things are scary. It's the fact that you don't know how it's going to feel, or you don't know what you're going to do, or you don't know how painful it's going to be. That's what makes it scary. If you know it, it might suck, but it's not scary. So whatever that thing is that you're afraid of, if you seek to know and to understand that thing, then it won't be scary, because you know it. Now that's not to say that getting hit is exactly pleasant. I wouldn't exactly call it fun most of the time. The adrenaline school, for whatever reason, generally I prefer the part where I'm like hitting them instead of them hitting me. I don't know, I think it's just a personal preference. But the fact of the matter is, it is something that you can simply get used to, relatively easily actually, and it's something that you can desensitize yourself to over time, provided that, like I said, you do it in a non-threatening environment. At this point in my career, I've probably been kicked in the stomach or punched like 1,000 times. And there's nothing scary about it at all. It's kind of like going to the dentist. Or like when you eat really spicy food, it's just going to burn coming out. Does that happen to other people, or is that just me? Meaning that it's just a little bit uncomfortable. There's all kinds of benefits that you get from sparring with people. You understand timing, distancing, you learn how to read people, you learn how to read people's body movements. You learn how to figure out how people's minds work in an extremely fast and high-paced environment. And as far as I'm concerned, that's useful in anything. But the reason that I'm telling you guys to spar in this context is because sparring does 2 things. 1, it'll desensitize you to the fear of getting hit. 2, it'll desensitize you to the pain, which again will further desensitize you to the fear of it. I remember the very first time somebody hit me really, really, really hard in the face. I had 2 thoughts. 1, Jesus Christ, that hurt. 2, I'm still standing. Oh my God, I'm still standing. And then of course after that he swung again, and then I had to move and I had to keep fighting. But there was still that moment of realization that this guy just hit me as hard as he possibly could. And I was still there. He didn't knock me out. He didn't break my face. He didn't even knock me down. I was still standing, and I could still fight back. And that realization is power. So now I'd like to move on to the last part. Getting your ass kicked. Before I finish out this video, I want to give you guys just one other piece of advice, and to tell you the single greatest key to success in absolutely anything: failure. I don't want to sound preachy or anything in any way, shape, or form, but I want to say this again to just kind of drill it into your psyche, that it's okay to fail. It's okay to get your ass kicked. It's okay to lose. Failure is the single greatest teacher you'll ever have in your life. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am in this position if I hadn't failed so much. And I can tell you guys from my own experience that there is no way I would be sitting here in this hotel room in Bangkok, because I'm making a living off of doing action movies in Asia, if I hadn't failed so many times, in so many ways, and at so many different things. And the key was just that I learned from every single failure. Every time I thought, okay, I failed at this, why did I fail? What part of this was my fault, regardless of what anybody else did? And how do I fix that? How do I rectify that? How do I improve at that? And then I learned, and then I tried again, and then I failed again. But I did a little bit better than the last time. And then same process. I tried again, I failed again, but I did just a little bit better. To give you guys an example, even in the early stages of my own Taekwondo career, I think I started sparring as like a 15-year-old green belt. But I didn't get my first gold medal until right before I got my black belt as a red belt. And then after I finally did it, then I got another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. And then I became a state champion, and then I became a non-Olympic national champion. So anyway, the point that I want to make is just don't be afraid of failing. It's natural. It's part of the process. And as long as you learn from it, instead of blaming other people or making excuses, then it'll make you stronger. And it'll make you smarter and better and more adaptable. And tougher. One of my favorite quotes is from an incredibly motivating individual by the name of Pritt, who died not too long ago, R.I.P. And one of the things that he said is, behind every fear is the person you really want to be. Because if you have a fear, and even if you're still scared, you look it straight in the eye, you go after it, and you conquer that fear, then you're going to start to think, damn, what else can I do? And then you're going to start making decisions based on what you want to do instead of what you're afraid of happening. And that is powerful. I remember the first time I went to Korea to train, and at the time, this was before social media was a thing and before even the internet was really a thing. And I was just getting on a plane and going there knowing basically nothing about it, when at the time I couldn't even eat Asian food. And I just went. And of course, I made a lot of mistakes. I got my ass kicked a lot. I messed up a lot, and there were times that it was uncomfortable. But at the same time, all of those failures taught me how to live and to be successful in foreign cultures, and how to adapt to completely unfamiliar surroundings. And after several years in Korea, I started getting brave as hell. This one time I bought a plane ticket to Thailand and then a return ticket from Singapore with only $100, just to see if I could figure out how to go from Bangkok through Malaysia all the way to Singapore on only $100. And I did it. I didn't eat anything for the last day at all. I was really hungry by the end. But I did it. So then after that, I'm like, well, damn, what else can I do? Let's try some other crazy shit. And then I started building this life out of just trying these things that most people thought were crazy. Like coming to Asia as an American black dude and becoming an action movie star. And here I am. Loving my life every day, sleeping in almost every day, almost never wearing a suit, and just spending my life doing what I think is fun and interesting. But my point is that I never would have gotten here had I not tried. So, anyway, to sum up, getting back to overcoming a fear of getting hit. Again, there's 4 steps. 1, you make the decision that you're going to try. 2, you find a martial art that you like and that looks interesting and fun, and you find a school where everyone accepts you for who you are and they encourage you to help you to grow. Where you can also fight with people. 3, you get into the ring and you just start taking your hits until you can get desensitized to the fear and desensitized to the pain, and it becomes just a normal thing. It's like jogging. And then 4, you just keep trying, you embrace your failure, and you learn from it. And then you try again. So anyway, I'm afraid I need to get about the business of the day. I hope that this video was helpful for you, and that it encourages you to just take that first step and just to try, man. Get out there and do your thing, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Because a lot of the people told me I'd never be able to do what I do for a living. So just remember, if don't nobody else believe in you, Chuck believe in you. Do your thing. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you next time. Yosh!